For the respective executive office are eligible to participate. Participation is voluntary. However, all candidates will be given equal opportunity to attend and speak. Candidates must be in good standing with the Election Commission at the time of the debate. Oh, also, if y'all could put y'all's phones on silent, that would be awesome. The forum will be moderated by a neutral moderator. That'd be me. Each candidate will be asked the same number of questions. Questions may include a combination of moderator prepared questions, audience submitted questions, if time allows. Speaking time limits will be clearly communicated prior to the start of the forum and enforced equally. So you have 1 minute for opening remarks, 1 minute for each question response, 1 minute for closing remarks, and we have a yellow paper that will be shown whenever you have 30 seconds remaining. And a red paper will be shown for 10 seconds remaining. So speaking order will be determined in advance at random and will rotate to ensure fairness, and each candidate will receive equal speaking time for responses, which are, as I said, 1 minute for opening remarks, 1 minute for each question response, 1 minute for closing remarks, and papers for reminders. Candidates are expected to treat all participants, moderators, and audience members with respect, address issues and ideas rather than personal attacks, and refrain from disruptive behavior, interruptions, or inappropriate language. The moderator reserves the right to redirect the discussion if conduct expectations are not met. Okay, the debate forum is not considered a campaigning event. Candidates may not distribute campaign materials, being flyers, stickers, QR codes, etc. They can't wear campaign apparel beyond basic identification, which is like a name. They can't explicitly ask for votes during the forum. Responses should be informational and focus on qualifications, goals, and ideas. Okay, and the audience. Audience questions must be respectful and relevant. Questions may be screened by the moderator to ensure appropriateness at time and time balance. Audience members are expected to maintain respectful conduct throughout the event. These rules are designed to align with the Student Government Association election code. Failure to comply may result in removal from the forum and/or referral to the Election Commission. By participating in the executive candidate debate forum, candidates acknowledge and agree to abide by these rules and procedures. Okay. With that being said, we'll get started with the graduate vice president candidate. So if they could make their way to the stage, we'll get started. Y'all can take a seat. Okay, if y'all want to start, we can start with Urian. You can introduce yourself.
Is this an introduction? Is this my opening statement? What are we? Okay,
You have 1 minute to give your opening statement. After you give your opening statement, then we will move on to the next candidate, and then we'll keep moving down the line. And then whenever we start on questions, we'll start with the second candidate, and then the third candidate, and then back to the beginning candidate. And so it'll rotate that way throughout, and so there's not an unfair advantage by getting the first question every time.
Wonderful. See if I can raise this up a little bit. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. My name is Jurian Lofton. I'm from Aledo, Texas, just west of Fort Worth, and I am a Red Raider. I completed my undergraduate degree here in honors economics with a minor in math, currently pursuing my PhD also in economics through our arts and sciences department. And while I was here, I was a member of the football team for the last 4 years. We won the school's first Big 12 championship. This university has done more for me than I could have ever imagined. And what an opportunity it is to stand here as a representative of this university and with an opportunity to give back. You know, I think that's the important thing here, is noting that we are servants and having an attitude of servitude towards this place that is such an amazing, amazing university and amazing institution that does so much for each and every one of us. Truly humbled and honored to be here. Very excited for the rest of the night. Thank you.
Hi everyone. For anyone that I haven't met, my name's Letty. I'm a second-year student over at the School of Law right now. Over there, I serve as an exec for a couple of our law school organizations, as well as I'm honored to be on our national trial team, as well as work in our clinical programs where I get to give free legal aid to some of the members of our Lubbock community here. So transparently, I didn't go to Texas Tech for undergrad. When I started looking for where I wanted to do law school, I wanted somewhere where I was going to feel like I had a home, not just somewhere to get a JD and get out of here, but somewhere that I would feel welcomed and loved and that I could be a part of that community and be very proud to wear those colors and have that school name. And the first time I came to Lubbock, I felt that here 100%. The people are welcoming, the school is incredible, and the community here just strives to make you better. And that's what I want out of this role as well, is to continue that welcoming environment and make sure that everyone that comes here, whether they started here or didn't start here, knows that they will be excellent when they leave.
Hi everyone, my name is Prince Ojoma Emmanuel and I hail from the eastern part of Nigeria. I completed my BSc in biochemistry over there in Nigeria. I also did my master's in biochemistry, and I came into Tech in November 2023 for my PhD in chemistry and biochemistry. And since coming here, it's been a welcome environment. I'm already ready as everyone has been so kind and cool, and I feel like it's a good opportunity for me to make my own contribution, also ensure that we have everything in place and make sure that all graduate students' ideas and needs are well met, so that no one feels disappointed, no one feels left out, and everyone feels carried along, so that we have inclusivity and everything in the student government association. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes. Okay, do you see your role primarily event-based or policy-based, and why?
I think this role is definitely more policy-based, and I think that your policies drive the events that you set up based on what your initiatives are and what you're looking to do. So specifically thinking about just graduate programs in general, obviously that takes a wide spread of things. You're dealing with master's and PhD, but also the law school, and those are places that are very different with very different programs and different needs. So keeping it policy focused, I feel like, is the best way to make sure you're meeting the needs of people that are in such different types of programs. For example, making sure that graduate students feel plugged into the Lubbock community and what Texas Tech culture is, generally speaking. Sometimes we can be disconnected because we're not in the undergraduate school, and so that policy and that basis for what you want to do can kind of drive bringing everyone in, even though all those programs are so different and so spread apart in a sense right now.
Thank you.
It's going to be the same question.
Okay. Thank you very much. I see myself running through the policy base, because I feel like a lot of things have been going on, and most graduate students are not really being favored based on some of the policies that have been going on campus. And one of the instances I would just put across is the issue of post-graduation upon completion of school. I've interacted with a lot of students, and being my second year at the SGA and then meeting with different graduate organizations, I've been able to interact with more graduate students and understand how they feel about some of the policies. And I feel like having good policies that will enhance their post-study events and also enhance their welfare will kind of bring a more united graduate students across Texas Tech University. Thank you.
You know, I think that this position is really about people more than it is anything else. We're here to represent the graduate student population, and how do we do that adequately, right? Policy is a part of the job. Policy is how we enact the things, the pillars and the initiatives that we are running on, the things that we want to do to represent these people, but events are the way that we reach the people, right? And being able to relate to all of the different graduate programs and the different places and the different people from different backgrounds is so important, right? And so I think that the ability to hold events where you're able to bring the people you're representing forward, and you're able to hear and learn more about them in order to then go back and create the policies and create the change that they want to see and be a true representative for them. You can't do that without interacting with them. And so I think that's what I would do. Thank you.
So graduate students are not a unified group. How do you represent doctoral researchers, professional students, and working master students when their interests may conflict?
Okay, thank you very much. Personally, having gone through the master's program and understand the difference between master and PhD program, I could tell you that one of the initiatives currently I've been thinking of running about is the issue of meeting with different graduate organizations to be able to understand what they feel and what they think is their needs. So if you don't know someone and don't understand what they need, you can't actually effectively implement policies that will actually bring about an impact in their life. So one of the things I hope to do is to ensure that I meet with different organizations and ensure that I hear them out and then understand what they want and probably walk through what they want us to do for them. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question for me?
Absolutely. Graduate students are not a unified group. How do you represent doctoral researchers, professional students, and working master's students when their interests may conflict?
Thank you. Well, I think it's going to be easy to represent doctoral researchers. That's where I come from, right? And it's very easy to represent anything that you represent yourself, right? But it's difficult to communicate with people without being in front of them, right? Without hearing their issues and without being able to relate to them, right? One of the really unique things about being a student athlete, specifically a football player, is you're on a team of 100 plus people, all with different backgrounds, right? And you learn to relate and you learn to create relationships and friendships that will end up lasting lifetimes, right? And so it's the ability to do that and the ability to go out and interact with these people and interact with students in different programs, right? Law students and PhD students and master's students and the professional students as well, right? And understand what it is that gets them up and motivates them in the morning, right? Why are they here? They're here to do something extremely specialized because they're investing in themselves, right? So how do we do everything we can as SGA to help them and enhance their experience at Texas Tech? Thank you.
And Letty, graduate students are not a unified group. How do you represent doctoral researchers, professional students, and working master students when their interests may conflict?
Yeah, I love that question. The difference between all of the programs for the graduate students is something I'm super passionate about. I think the first step in that as a graduate vice president is acknowledging that you can't personally know exactly what is best for every one of those groups. As a law student, I will have a lot to learn about the doctoral and master's students, and any master's or doctoral student has a lot to learn about the other programs as well. And accepting that shortcoming on your own part is the biggest step in that, which is why I think it comes in two parts. The first is making sure you're connecting well with the senators that do represent those programs that you're not a part of, hearing them out, spending that time with them, and making sure that you are really understanding what their people are saying they need because they're that liaison for you. And the second part is finding the unity of what all of those groups do need. So you can make steps towards what all of those groups do have in common when you're identifying kind of the ways that every graduate program needs improvement and needs different things that they can all share together. Thank you.
Hello. How do you engage graduate students who don't see SGA as relevant to them?
Wow, what a question. Again, I think it goes back to relationships and creating relationships with people, right? At the end of the day, it's about the people who are here and the things that make this university and this place special, right? And being able to get in front of them and not trying to push an agenda down their throats, but really to learn who they are and what they care about, what motivates them, right? What's their why? Why do they get up every morning? And so the ability to do that, I think, is paramount in order to have any success in this role. In order to do anything for someone, you want to be able to do things that are efficient and that help them to succeed, right? And so what can we do as SGA, as a graduate vice president, to understand the people first and foremost, and then go into my role as the graduate vice president and help them to succeed?
How do you engage graduate students who don't see SGA as relevant to them?
Yeah, I think that starting an earlier awareness is one of the first things. I know for me personally, I didn't really learn what SGA was until honestly pretty far into my first year here at Texas Tech. And I think that the earlier we can start that, the better people are going to be able to understand just what exactly SGA does and the impact that that has on not just the undergrad campus, but the graduate students. If we're able to, from a material standpoint, get that information to them early on, right? Make that a part of the orientation programs that these graduate students are going through. Make that a part of the earlier stages of when they first get to Lubbock and get to Texas Tech, then I think that would really revamp the culture of how graduate students view SGA going forward. And additionally, I think that from the current standpoint of people who are already past that time and have already had their introduction into Texas Tech, really engaging them where they're at, trying to get into their programs, their clubs, their meetings now that they're already past orientation is a way to get those people brought in as well.
How do you engage graduate students who don't see SGA as relevant to them?
Thank you very much for that question. One of the important things we have to understand is that most graduate students today don't even know that SGA exists because following my conversation with them as a graduate senator and having been going around different graduate student organizations, and we've noticed that most of them doesn't know what they could do. They don't know how they can contribute to SGA. And one of the things we started doing recently is to meet with different graduate organizations to kind of intimate them to understand that it's something like SGA and let them know some of the initiatives and the policies they can actually influence and also help make graduate students' life better on campus. So one of the best things I would do is to ensure that I continue this initiative of working to ensure we have all graduate students know about SGA and also help them understand how they can influence students' life, the graduate students' life on campus while also doing their program. So that's one of my biggest initiatives to ensure that we'll have all graduate students knitted together to make sure that everyone contributes their quota. And then also, you can notice that even in SGA, we always have vacant seats of graduate students. That's because no one ever knows about SGA. No one knows how they could kind of even come into to context as a graduate vice president or as a graduate senator in SGA. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, graduate vice president candidates. That's all we have for y'all, so y'all can make y'all's way back to your seats. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. At this time, they'll give their closing statements, so I guess, Durian, you'll go first.
Look, as I said before, I'm a Red Raider, right? I love this place. I care deeply about this place. This place has done so much for me, personally and professionally. I'm so excited to be here with this opportunity today. Truly humbled and honored. I truly am. The graduate student population is almost at 8,300, right? As the undergraduate and graduate enrollment of this university continues to grow, this university continues to succeed, right? It's very paramount that we have people in the right positions within SGA to represent those needs and to reach out to those people, right? There are 36 graduate programs funded at almost $90,000, right? And so how do we teach each and every one of them about who we are and what we are, right? And that we are a resource for them, right? And that's what I'm excited to do. I'm excited to get out there and learn and meet new people and be a representative for them. Like I said before, this university has done so much for me, and what an opportunity to finally be able to give more of myself back to it. Thank you.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think it's so cool that so many of y'all are here being a part of this. That's just really awesome. Our time up here feels like it kind of flew by really fast, so that's kind of crazy. But I know that for a lot of our graduate students, kind of circling that back into what it's like being in grad school here, it feels like your time at Texas Tech can kind of fly by. And so through this role, something that's really important to me is making sure that graduate students come here knowing that they can make the absolute most out of the time that they are at Texas Tech. It can be easy to feel like you are just getting through one more step in your education. Once you're already at this point, you're definitely starting to get tired. You've been in school for a long time. And so just making sure that those people are motivated, that our students, no matter which program, are excited to be Red Raiders, are involved as Red Raiders, however that looks for them, and are excited to go out and represent this university post-graduation is the main thing that I want to be able to accomplish. And ideally, making sure that they feel as welcomed as I have by Texas Tech since coming here throughout the entirety of that process.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Just have 3 main points I wish to accomplish on this position. One of them is postgraduate study of graduate students. Most persons live here with fear, with concern of not knowing what to do. And following my meeting this recently with different graduate organizations, I understand that the geoscience graduate students have a directory of their past alumni, and they come back to them for connections to help them get through things they need when they leave this place. And that's what I want to achieve across different programs of graduate students. And another thing is to make sure that the well-being and welfare of graduate students are well taken care of. And that's something I wouldn't jeopardize for anything. And I'll make sure that working with different organizations, different administrations to make sure that we get this accomplished. And the final thing is to ensure that the employability training of graduate students is well met, because the graduate register already hosts a lot of trainings that graduate students take before they go for any conference. But at the end of the day, no one gets certified for those trainings. And I'll work to ensure that we have these things in place and make sure that everyone feels safe and feels secure in graduate school in Texas Tech. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, if all internal vice president candidates could make their way to their stage, please.
If we want to start with opening remarks, whichever of you would like to go first can start with their opening remark, and then we'll ask the question with that one second.
Okay. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Sarah Sweden, and I'm a first-generation Red Raider here at Texas Tech University studying finance on the pre-medicine track. And I'm proud to stand before you as the internal vice president candidate for Timeless Tradition. From the first day I began at Texas Tech, I fully immersed myself in the student life. With joining 9 student organizations and being in leadership roles within 4 of those, I've learned how to represent my student body. Over 275 service hours and 30,000 meals packed for the Lubbock community, I'm here to serve you from an internal vice president perspective. The Timeless Tradition campaign is more than just a name. It's for every Red Raider. It's here to give you guys support and motivation to be able to do the things that you want to do. With passion, with motivation, I'm here to support you. And I'm so excited to share those initiatives with you today. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit with all of you guys about my ideas, beliefs, and just a little bit about myself. My name is Charlie Fierbacher, and I am the Raider Revival candidate for Internal Vice President. I'm a second-year student here at Tech, majoring in agricultural and applied economics and general business. I was born and raised in Stephenville, Texas, also known as the cowboy capital of the world. I am very excited to be running for internal vice president. I've had the privilege of being involved in SGA in many different ways throughout my tenure here as a student. I was a part of the FYLA, First Year Leadership Association program, an intern under the student body president at the time, Ms. Abigail Vega. From there, I ran and was elected to serve as an at-large senator, being on the Rules and Administration Committee, as well as a co-director of the First Year Council. And I believe I'm running short on time here, but I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Charlie, what is the difference between enforcing Senate rules and building Senate buy-in, and how would you balance both?
I think the role of internal vice president is crucial. I think that it needs to be someone who's able to maintain neutrality and really understand the rules of the Senate. I know that there's always going to be a lot of opinions, and that is why we have the Senate, to be able to deliberate on different issues. And so I think that being able to maintain a clear understanding of, what we need to do at Senate, what the Constitution says. I myself have had a few different experiences where I've been able to compete in parliamentary procedure, contests and events, and that is crucial to the role of internal vice president. And so I think that, whenever we have different situations, it's very important to just remember to stay clear to those rules and regulations. Thank you.
Sarah, what is the difference between enforcing Senate rules and building Senate buy-in, and how would you balance both?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question, Ms. Clark. I believe that the difference between that is making sure that you're there to support your students, empowering them, and making them motivated to speak up against whatever legislative pieces that may be. I believe that continuing to speak up and not being afraid to use your voice is the most important thing that you can do to represent your student body diligently. Whether that may be through me, the internal vice president candidate, someone sitting in my office asking me, oh, how can I do this piece, or how can I speak up for this piece? Or it might be talking to your peers, your fellow senators, your fellow ambassadors, your fellow cabinet members, to work together to empower those student voices and to work together to continue to pursue the legacy that we choose to leave here at Texas Tech University. Thank you so much.
Sarah, you can come back up for the next question. Hello. During budget season or impeachment proceedings, stress is unavoidable. At what point does burnout become a performance issue that requires action?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. I get this question a lot, actually. I'm very, very involved on campus, and I've learned how to deal with stress. I've learned how to deal with the burnout. From my first year being involved within the First Year Leadership Association, I got to speak to one of my mentors, and she told me that I will get burnt out if I continue to continue to be involved on campus. But I think that is the opposite. The more that you continue to immerse yourself in the student body and learn what people want, and to continue to talk to those student organizations, talk to that student body, I believe that it gives me more motivation and it calms my stress down, actually. And obviously having the power of God and having the power of the students behind me, and being able to be a voice for them and being able to be a voice for the change, I believe completely disregards the burnout and the stress. Thank you so much.
Hello. During budget season or impeachment proceedings, stress is unavoidable. At what point does burnout become a performance issue that requires action?
Absolutely. And the two examples that you gave, budget and impeachment, those are definitely things that the IVP, internal vice president, has to oversee and are probably thought of as being more challenging. Although I think that within this role as internal vice president, the person must be able to remain, calm and really have that listening ear. I think that as the internal vice president, it's important to be slow to speak but quick to listen, and I think it's really important to hear all perspectives. I know that you listed two examples, and I believe that within budgeting, it's very important. I know that the Budget and Finance Committee this past semester definitely did a lot of hard work, and it's really appreciated. And so as being a current senator and getting to observe that, I really appreciate all of their work, and I believe that I would be able to really help them with that. And as far as any sort of, disagreement within the Senate, I think that it's important for everyone to really have that listening ear. Thank you.
If a senator is doing the bare minimum required by governing documents but contributing nothing beyond that, do you intervene on what authority?
It is so important to motivate the senators both inside and outside the Senate chamber. Us senators currently are very involved within student government, but also a lot of other organizations, and so I think that a lot of people do tend just to try to meet those requirements and not do much else. But I think that as a senator, you're representing your fellow students, you're representing your constituents, and it is so important to make sure that you are doing your best and of the best interest of the people. And so as far as intervening, I think that that's kind of a case-by-case scenario. If elected to be internal vice president, I would definitely want to encourage people positively to do the best that they can do. And I think that by doing that in that light, it would have a better result than to, have a negative sort of talk about that. And that's just kind of what I think would work best. But I believe that internal vice president should definitely be able to approach someone about that sort of thing. Thank you.
If a senator is doing the bare minimum required by governing documents but contributing nothing beyond that, do you intervene on what authority?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. I believe that we do a lot of hard work as senators. Next year, it's actually one of my initiatives to cut back on the legislative pieces, so that way we have more quality pieces passing through versus quantity. I want our senators to continue to stay motivated, and I hope to be that factor that continues to motivate them and to be the voice to make sure that they empower their students. By having one legislative piece required next year versus two, students can focus on a year-long project or a semester-long project rather than quickly trying to make two pieces. And then they can also work with their fellow constituents, their fellow students, their fellow senators to work on pieces that mean the most to our student body. And I believe that's the way that I can contribute to them. If they're feeling unmotivated, I will notice that and I will have a conversation with them and I will be there for them, not only as an internal vice president, but as a student, as a person, and as a friend, most importantly. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah, you can give your closing statement at this point.
Absolutely. As I close tonight, I want to bring us back to one thing: people. People make up this university, people make up our lives. There are so many of you in this room, and you are all people. Starting here at Texas Tech University, I came from out of state, and I've got the opportunity to meet so many people. Whether it's at a football game, supporting our football team, or it's at a basketball game, swag surfing with random people you just met, or whether if it's standing in line at the BYU game or the Carol of the Lights, I think people really do make up this university. And I'm so excited to be able to be a voice for you guys and be a voice for this change. Timeless Tradition, again, is for the people, and for those people that feel like their voices aren't heard, and for those people that feel like they have been silenced. I want to be your voice. I want to motivate you to do better. I want to motivate you to do better for this university and make the impact that you hope to make while reaching your goals and passions. And for that, I say Timeless Tradition is for the people. Let's make a timeless change together. Thank you so much.
It would be my honor to serve as internal vice president. From the moment I first stepped foot on Texas Tech University's campus, I felt right at home. And my past 2 years of being a student here have only confirmed that initial feeling. I believe that I want to make senators know that their voices are heard, their time matters, and that the work they are doing for their students will make a difference. I hope to build off of the amazing work that has been done through student government, not only in the last century, but especially what I've been able to experience the most, the 61st session. I believe that we will be able to help lead the Senate efficiently so that way our senators and Senate members can do their best work. Thank you, and Recum.
If the external vice president candidates could make their way to the stage. Okay, we can start with opening statements. So whoever would like to go first, you're welcome to make your way to the podium.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully your day is going well. My name is Nia Baker. I'm a third-year cellular and molecular biology major here at Texas Tech, who's double majoring in arts and sciences, multidisciplinary studies on the pre-dental track. So hopefully in 5 to 6 years, you can come to me and I can look at your teeth. But at my time as Texas Tech started my senior year whenever I came for my tour. I wanted to hate Tech because my parents both went here. That's all I knew growing up. I was a Red Raider and I didn't know what that really meant. But when I came for my tour, I fell in love with the school because it was my home away from home. Whenever I came here, everybody was so sweet and amazing. And then whenever I got here as a Red Raider, I joined different student orgs. So I'm on the board of 5 different student orgs ranging outside of my major. as it relates to voting and being nonpartisan and being educated when you're voting, going into the community outside of Texas Tech, going into local Lubbock community, whether it's on the east side and volunteering or going to do other things as it relates to my major and just meeting other like-minded people. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Aguilar. It's a pleasure to be in front of you all this evening. I am a second-year agricultural communications major. I'm coming from a rural community in East Texas. I really want to emphasize how special it is to be here in front of all of you guys, being able to advocate on students' behalf. When making this drive for external vice president, to tell you the truth, that decision was not easy. The EVP goes into every room making a decision, and they have to carry the weight of 42,000 students behind them. And so I was afraid, and my fear was that that role was too big, and I wanted to ensure that when pursuing this opportunity, it was a calling and not just a purpose and a position that I wanted to fulfill. And so, being external vice president, I come to the table and showing up when it matters, showing up for each other. My initiatives that I want to pursue is bringing local business partnerships with dining programs, encouraging youth education outreach, and ensuring that every Red Raider who comes to the table is invited into the family. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First off, thank you to the Election Commission, my fellow candidates, and every Red Raider here tonight for giving me the opportunity to stand before you. My name is George Jacob, and I'm a computer engineering sophomore here at Texas Tech, and I'm running with the Timeless Tradition campaign right here. Texas Tech is more than just a campus we walk across every day. It is a legacy that we carry with us. It's clearly seen in the Masked Riders run, or in the pride we feel when we say guns up. That is why this position is really important to me, and I'll do my utter best to fulfill this. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to you guys for stepping up to run, all of you for stepping up to run. It's a huge commitment, and you're taking time out of your busy student life to do this. My name's Preston Parsons. I'm a freshman here at Texas Tech, so I might be the youngest one around here, but I am a junior by credit hours, so I am eligible to run, I promise. In my first year at Texas Tech, I restarted the Turning Point USA chapter, which I am proud to be the president of. I serve as the chairman of the Students for Abraham Enriquez Coalition, a chairman of the Tech Conservative Coalition, a chairman of the Lubbock Area Turning Point USA Coalition, and I'm a Terry Scholar, I'm a Hagen Scholar, I'm the Scoville Business Leadership Program. But besides all of that, my proudest claim to fame, my proudest acknowledgement is that I'm a Christian. And I stand by that in everything I do, and the Bible is the worldview that I use for everything that'll come across my desk. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
What makes student advocacy credible to lawmakers or community leaders, and what hurts that credibility?
Will you repeat the question one more time?
Yes, ma'am. What makes student advocacy credible to lawmakers or community leaders, and what hurts that credibility?
I first want to talk about community leaders and when they advocate for students. I actually got the opportunity to visit with Mayor Pro Temp Cristina Martina Garcias, and when I got to visit with her, I actually saw how important she viewed students being in Lubbock and how Texas Tech impacts our community. And so I do understand where people come from whenever they see leaders who might not be the most qualified to speak on students' behalf, but I also see the good when community members want to advocate for Texas Tech. Citizens of Lubbock, I really do believe, enjoy having us here. And I see the pride that they have when they come to football games or athletic events, or when people show up to Senate meetings like yesterday when the Constitutional Society of Lubbock came to visit us. And so instead of that narrative of them hurting for advocating for students, I want to turn it into a positive one, because it's good that people in our community care and they want to advocate for the laws of students. Thank you.
What makes student advocacy credible to lawmakers or community leaders, and what hurts that credibility?
All right. Thank you so much for the question. I believe credibility initially starts off with trust, and trust is something that's built within students and the rest of this Texas Tech by open communication and reliability. And once that reliability and open communication is formed, I believe it's way more credible that way, and that should be the first impact that should be made. And yeah, thank you.
What makes student advocacy credible to lawmakers or community leaders, and what hurts that credibility?
This is a great question. I personally have a lot of experience working with lawmakers when it comes to student advocacy. That's my complete role as president of Turning Point USA here at Texas Tech. In now 6 months serving in that role, I have brought Attorney General Ken Paxton, Mayor Mark McBrayer, Vice Chairman of the Lubbock County Republican Party, Mr. Ken Adams, Mr. Pierre Wilson from Turning Point USA Rise. Coming up, Mr. Alex Stein, Ms. Kristen Hawkins, the Lieutenant Governor I know, and the Chancellor, Brandon Creighton, who I'm a huge fan of and I like to call him a good personal friend. His first public event as Chancellor of Texas Tech University was at a Turning Point USA event. So I have these connections, and I've taken these student advocacy things to these leaders of Texas. So when looking at this ballot, I would encourage each of you to weigh that and consider that. Who has the connections, who has experience in student advocacy working with local lawmakers? Thank you.
What makes student advocacy credible to lawmakers or community leaders, and what hurts that credibility?
When I was in high school, my dad once told me, you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. And ever since he said that, I took the statement literally and I ran with it. So I think advocacy is you fighting for what you want or what's in the best interest of others. Even if we don't have the same ideas, I think everybody being in student government, coming from different backgrounds, make the advocacy that we're doing even more important. Because we're going to come to a conclusion that's better for the majority, not just one specific group of people. So whether it's us going out and serving the community or finding ways for Texas Tech to give back to their students, that's something that, as external vice president, that I would be fighting for. And I think that the credibility that we're talking about is us going out and meeting our constituents where they are rather than getting our constituents to come to us. SGA office is on the 3rd floor and our Senate chamber is on the 3rd floor of MCOM, and sometimes I feel like we're not going out to meet the students where they are. So whether it's going to student orgs or going to go volunteering or being the tutors that they need to see, I think that's what the credibility is about, is going back to the fundamentals and the basics of SGA to make Student Government Association something that I'm proud to be a part of and proud to emphasize and advocate for other people to join as well. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to take a 10-minute break. So candidates, if you could please make your way back to the stage at 6:50. That would be great. Thank you. Okay, we'll get started again. Okay, what is one external relationship that takes time to build but is easy to damage, and how would you protect it?
Thank you so much for the question. I believe one relationship that's hard to build, but it's easy to damage would be the relationship with the community of Lubbock. Because as a small frat party gone wrong, for example, could easily damage the reputation of Texas Tech as a whole. And it's pretty, all it takes is really a lot of effort. So one of our initiatives called the Big Event, where all of Texas Tech students from all over Texas Tech come across together and help volunteer and help the community of Lubbock would be one of the initiatives, and that's giving thanks to the community. Initiatives such as that would be a great example of how to give back to the community and earn respect. Even if it's lost, I believe it can always be built back. Thank you.
What is one external relationship that takes time to build but is easy to damage, and how would you protect it?
I would definitely say it's local elected officials. They have so many opportunities for students to pour into them, and they've been extremely inviting. In my time here at Texas Tech, I've made some incredible relationships with local elected officials, and it's very important to keep those relationships because it turns into internships, it turns into having them be guest speakers to come and talk to SGA, and all of the things that go in with that. And those relationships are very easily damaged. I personally am in disagreement with the decision that was made at the Student Senate yesterday to go against state law and federal executive orders. And when things like that are done, you take a stance against the state of Texas. It's very important to note that the organizational structure of the university, the Board of Regents are appointed by the governor. The Board of Regents elect the chancellor. And when you take actions that are in disagreement with that, you are at risk of risking those very key relationships. So just making sure you're towing the line and following the law and keeping those relationships with local elected officials. Thank you.
What is one external relationship that takes time to build but is easy to damage, and how would you protect it?
Yes. I think one external relationship that's very important is the relationship with our Red Raiders parents and family. I'm 9 hours away from home because I'm from Houston, so whenever you bring your child here and leave them, you're leaving with people that they don't know. So just building that relationship, so communicating with them, doing more things. And I'm also a community advisor, so we have cards that we send to the parents that they'll drop off for their students. So just ensuring that you're not only a Red Raider here, but we're building a family. So everybody around you is going to be supportive and helpful, and I would do that by doing different initiatives that you can either do shipments to your kids because you already have our Red Raider care packages and they come to the dorms every day or every week, depending on what your student wants, or having different things for you to find people in your student group so then you can get food drop off to you for the Facebook groups, or you can have somebody come and help you with their laundry, because I know that transition to be hard. So just bridging the transition with the parents and their students to make sure that they still feel at home and loved at Texas Tech is my goal as external vice president.
What is one external relationship that takes time to build but is easy to damage, and how would you protect it?
Okay, to tell you guys the truth, I was also going to say parents and family. I am a big parents and family person, but to give a different perspective, I will go with my second choice, and I'll talk about our alumni. So I see them as an external presence on campus because they are not currently students, but they are still a part of the Red Raider community. So they're already bought in. And so to go to further lengths to protect that relationship with them on campus because they do so much for us already. They went to school here, they have that Red Raider pride, and so we as an external relationship, we have to really protect the resources that they bring and they give to us so generously. And the reason why I think it's so important to protect it is because the student might have a blind eye and don't really understand how big of an alumni presence the school has and how important it is for us to protect that. Because truthfully, I don't think Texas Tech would be what it is. I think we all know that without that presence in the room. Thank you.
One more question.
Can you give examples of Texas Tech external partners, and how do you plan on working with those external partners and the city of Lubbock in the betterment of the student body?
Definitely. Some of those would be what were just mentioned in the last round of questioning. Local elected officials, parents, family, alumni. Those groups are so important to get to know and keep those relationships with. And how do you relationship build? How do you keep those relationships in good standing? It's coalition building. That is something that I am very good at. I have had lots of experience in it in the last year, and I'm very proud of that. So you have to build coalitions amongst these groups that are so important externally to Texas Tech University. What makes Texas Tech great? What is the brand? It's the alumni. It's the family. It's the tradition. So you have to uphold those values and make sure that you're taking in their perspectives, because they have the experience, they have the wisdom, and they're looking to pour into us. So keeping those relationships up and building coalitions with those groups that were just mentioned in the previous question, definitely. Thank you.
Can you give some examples of Texas Tech external partners, and how do you plan on working with those partners and the city of Lubbock in the betterment of the student body?
Yes. Well, some external partners that I'd like to mention are the local NAACP chapter and the YWCA. So these two local chapters are amazing, and they do great recognition and different initiatives throughout the semester and the school year. With the local NAACP chapter, we're hosting a mayor forum to get the two connected, so then we can still have those partnerships and hopefully have more in the future. And then the YWCA does different things like recognitions, where they have a legacy award, or they have different things that we can nominate people for, so we can see them and continue those partnerships. So just building things like that, so then whenever we leave, we can transition and hopefully have Aggie pride, but Red Raider pride, and it continues to grow. So just making different initiatives, so then we can, one, find like-minded Red Raiders, and then two, build in the community, whether it's with different student groups going out and volunteering with these different people, or just finding initiatives that we can have. And at the end of the day, just going out into the community, you're going to go find things that need to be changed. So you have to be the change that you want to see, as I said in my opening statement. So thank you.
Can you give examples of Texas Tech external partners, and how do you plan on working with those external partners and the city of Lubbock for the betterment of the student body?
So the external partner that I want to highlight is actually our apartment complexes, and those are actually external ties that we have with Texas Tech. There are many students who commute here every single day, and where they reside is in those apartment complexes. And that also plays into part with how they get to Tech, which is transportation. And so protecting that tie that they have with Lubbock is super important. I know that a lot of students face a lot of frustration with transportation, and that goes with that external tie, ensuring that they are doing their dues and keeping that relationship with Texas Tech upheld, whether that's finances or regulations that they have with safety. And so that tie with transportation, I really do see it as something that needs to be highlighted, that it's an external tie that's not really focused on enough, and I really do think that that is a tie that really should be more emphasized when talking about external factors. Thank you.
Can you give examples of Texas Tech external partners, and how do you plan on working with those external partners and the city of Lubbock for the betterment of the student body?
All right. One of the examples I'd like to give is Radar Canvas. I know almost all of us students use Radar Canvas for most of their classes, but I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how important it is until you actually start using it and realize, oh, it makes my life so much easier in this, and this ways. And the only way to keep that going, helping students, is taking advantage of it in ethical ways and not misusing it in any way whatsoever. And I believe that's the best way to go about with it. Thank you so much.
Okay, now it's time for closing statements.
Okay, guys, thank you for giving me a part of your evening and for hearing what I had to say to be your external vice president for the 2026-2027 academic year. Whenever I came to Texas Tech and I joined student government, I never thought that I'd find a home away from home, be able to find the change that I might want to see. I thought that I was going to come here and be pre-dental and just only join the orgs, but I found things that I never found before. And being a double legacy, hearing my parents' time at Texas Tech and how amazing it was for them, I hope that I had the same thing and it surpassed that. I found my best friends in different leadership opportunities. I've been able to learn more about myself than I had imagined because I put myself in uncomfortable positions. So if you put yourself in uncomfortable positions and you're like me, you should push forward because you're going to do great things. And I think that this is the start of something amazing, not just for me, but any of the 4 candidates that are standing up here are such great options. So regardless of who you vote for or what your decision may be, just think about how amazing it would be if you have an amazing external vice president and they're going to build relationships, have student government, go do different volunteering and initiatives, and hopefully put you in the best position.
Time.
Thank you.
I would first like to wrap this forum up on my behalf. I just want to really applaud and congratulate the candidates that are up on the stage with me. I know that we have all fought the good fight, and I'm sure we went through hardships, and so standing here already is already accomplishment through my eyes. Secondly, I want to leave you guys with a quote, and I hope I say it right. It's a little bit of a long one. Do all the good that you can, in all the ways you can, in all the means you can, in all the places you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. So I want to emphasize that it's a scary and cruel and harsh world out there, and I really do see the good in everybody, and I really do want to empower you all to be the good on campus. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think you can see that tonight. I live by my morals and my actions and my character, and so I really encourage you guys to vote the team who you think has the best morals and integrity and who would serve y'all best. But thank you guys so much.
All right. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight. And March 3rd, make sure you have the dates in your mind. That's the date your voice becomes your votes. And let's continue building something timeless together here at Tech. Thank you.
Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and listen to us. I am so honored to share the stage with 3 other incredible people. Whoever you choose is going to do a great job. I would just like to note that I'm not going to hide who I am, obviously. I am who I am, and I stand for the things that I believe in. I have the personal relationships, I have the professional relationships, and I have the experience to bring great things to this campus just as I already have. I'm looking forward to continuing doing that, and I'm so thankful for all of you, once again, for taking some time out of your busy schedules to listen to us, and I wish you a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Y'all can make y'all's way back to your seats. If the student body president candidates could make their way to the stage, questions will begin momentarily. Okay, we'll begin with opening statements, so whoever would like to go first.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to platform and tell you all about Raider Revival and everything that we are about. I'm in the 3rd year of my Texas Tech education, and I'm studying finance and political science. I am a 4th generation Red Raider. I have family members that have been head coaches, athletic directors, head trainers, and even a student body president. I have firsthand witnessed what this school can do to people, the doors it can open, and what you can give back to it, and that's what I want to do. I'm so excited to stand here in front of y'all, talk to y'all, as you've seen my 3 candidates go ahead. Just super excited to be here, thankful for all of y'all, and good luck to you too as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jane Ozane
Krasinski, and I'm honored and it's a privilege to stand before you all today as the running candidate for Student Body President with Timeless Tradition. I am an environmental engineering major with minors in mathematics, civil engineering, and American Sign Language. And I know A sounds a little bit random from all the STEM, but you need to have a little balance. I am a part of multiple organizations. I'm honored to serve as the president of the Chi Epsilon Honor Society, so I'm very familiar with leadership and taking responsibility. I'm also honored to serve as the vice president of my chapter of my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I'm also honored to serve within 5 other organizations where I serve as a leader. Leadership to me is about being community conscious and action oriented. It's about service to others and ensuring that those needs of our community is being heard, that their voices are being heard, and that they're being seen and our community is connected. I value leadership and I value our people. It's an honor to stand before you all today and to have served in the roles that I have been in until now. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Sarah Richard, and I am the Red and Bold Movement's candidate for Student Body President. I'm a third-year senior studying hospitality management, another random major, but again, we like to keep it fresh and balanced. I have been blessed to be involved in so much across this campus during my time, especially 3 years actively involved in various ways with the Student Government Association as a first-year council member, a partner of the SGA, as an outside source, and as a current senator for the Health and Human Sciences College. I am so blessed to be a part of wonderful organizations like the Mortarboard Honor Society. I'm a recent member of the Turning Point USA team at Texas Tech, and I was also a former Goin' Band Association member as a color guard performer, and I am just so grateful to be here tonight with everyone. My biggest goal is to show the campus that we are here for safety, accessibility, opportunity, and sustainability. Thank you guys so much.
What is something the student body president cannot realistically change, and how would you explain that to students?
That's a good question. Could you please repeat the question?
Yes. What is something the student body president cannot realistically change, and how would you explain that to students?
Thank you for that question. I believe the first thing and foremost is we are a student body. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different places. Some of us aren't from Texas. Some of us come from even outside of the region of America. But the biggest thing of all is that we all share this common goal, is to be successful as Red Raiders now and even after we graduate. One thing that I'm concerned that we may not be able to exactly address is that we all have different ideas, different perspectives, different opinions. But that's the thing about Timeless Tradition is that we're open to all, and we're here to help serve others and make sure that everyone is still being heard and those action is behind the words that we are trying to address from the student body. Thank you for that question.
What is something the student body president cannot realistically change, and how would you explain that to students?
Thank you, and that's a very great question. One of the biggest things that a student body president cannot realistically change is the actual change on campus. What we can do, however, is collaborate and listen to the students and the people who can make that change happen. I've been so blessed to meet so many amazing people and make all of the wonderful connections, because making the connections and taking the initiative to make those connections equal collaboration, and collaboration makes changes on campus. Thank you so much.
The way I want to answer this question is with one word, and that's unfairness. You cannot change unfairness. Things aren't fair. There are opportunities that I will have that none of y'all will have, and there are opportunities that y'all will have that I will not have. And I think that as student body president, accepting that reality, but still remaining and striving to make it as fair as possible. If I know that I can't do maybe what Jurian, he won a Big 12 championship. I didn't win a Big 12 championship. There are a lot of things that when we realize our differences and we celebrate the difference in opportunity, and we accept that, and we still continue to fight and show up day in, day out to make it fair, and just continue to build up the Red Raider pride. Thank you.
As student body president, you represent Texas Tech students externally into administration. How would you ensure you're speaking for students and not just your personal opinions?
Thank you. That is a great question. One of the biggest things, as I've mentioned before, is taking initiative to listen to the students. The biggest thing I have ever wanted to achieve in my life is be a servant for others. I do that externally already as the public servant for the military and first responder community as the Miss Military Star Texas. And I've put in over 300 hours of community service advocating for them, listening to ROTC students, listening to veterans on campus, and listening to so many people out in the community has driven my work to better them. Thank you for your time.
As student body president, you represent Texas Tech students externally into administration. How would you ensure you're speaking for students and not just your personal opinions?
Thank you. So one thing that our team has talked about is SGA transparency. Oh, that's a big thing for us. So I'm an ambassador for SGA currently. I started that role last semester. And one of the things that I realized that was so important about SGA and our mission is talking to students. And I think that it is very easy as SGA elected and appointed positions to be performative and not impactful. And so that is what we strive to do. We want to talk to students using the ambassador program to go out into the community and into the free speech area to not only listen to people, but then take those ideas back to the office and get that change on campus that they need to see. Thank you. Are you so? Oh, sorry about that.
As student body president, you represent Texas Tech students externally into administration. How would you ensure you're speaking for students and not just your personal opinions?
That's a good question. I think first and foremost for me, I've had the ability and the opportunity to sit in rooms with other organization leaders and hear what their concerns are about, hear about what they're seeing on campus, whether they're from IFC, Penn Atlantic, or CPH, where I also serve on the council leaderboard for Mind Council. I've been able to sit in rooms and hear what students are needing and what they need. Outside of that, for Timeless Tradition, our initiative is to ensure that every student is aware of who their senators are for their college, ensuring that every student knows what resources that they have on campus, ensuring that we're going out there and speaking to the student body, because you don't know what you don't know until you know it, and that's the reality for a lot of students. So ensuring that every student is getting resources and hearing about what it is about Texas Tech and our student body government. Thank you for that question.
Article 3, Section 10 of the Constitution of the Student Government Association grants authority to the student body president to veto legislation from the Student Senate. So if the Senate passed a resolution about a university policy, but you believe parts of it were based on weak data or questionable legal interpretation, how would you decide whether to sign or veto it?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think as student body president, it is your job to represent the student body as well as Texas Tech. I think that if you find a lack of data and you feel that the bill does not represent the student body and it does no good for the student body, part of your job, whether or not it was a popular piece within the Senate, is to veto that bill. You are a representative and you are a voice for people who can't voice their opinions. And so making sure that you are accurately preserving the integrity of not only the Student Government Association, but also Texas Tech. If you have to veto that bill, that is your duty. Thank you.
Article 3, Section 10 of the Constitution of the Student Government Association grants authority to the student body president to veto legislation from the Student Senate. If the Senate passed a resolution about a university policy, but you believe parts of it were based on weak data or questionable legal interpretation, how would you decide whether to sign or veto it?
That's a good question, thank you. I think the first step is if it's a matter of, oh, what is the data and what's presented in front of me, it's about reflecting on those who have come before me and seeing what have you done before, reflecting on our advisors and my peers within SGA, seeing what would be the best course of action. I think also alongside with that, I've had the opportunity to sit in with National Appellate Council with experience with sitting on bills before with Dr. Skupinak on how to address things. So I've had the experience and opportunity to address things of that nature and ensure that we go the right direction and make sure that every decision that is made at the end is with the people and the students in mind. Thank you.
Article 3, Section 10 of the Constitution of the Student Government Association grants authority to the student body president to veto legislation from the Student Senate. If the Senate passed a resolution about a university policy, but you believe parts of it were based on weak data or questionable legal interpretation, how would you decide whether to sign or veto it?
Thank you, and this is a really great question. I think what's been missed a lot of this time is, have we looked into all of the facts? Have we spoken to the people who have passed this legislation? Why did they pass this legislation? And what other facts are we not talking about? And in order to do that, we have to do the research ourselves. We have to take that initiative, as I have said multiple times throughout this night, in that we need to make sure that we have all of our facts, because it's not just a yes or no. It is not just one way or another. It is about meeting in the middle somewhere, and it is about working with everyone to ensure that that happens. Thank you.
At this time, we'll do closing statements.
As I conclude tonight, I want to start off by thanking you all for your time, thank you for the questions, and thank you for the opportunity to stand before you all. As the first student, or first engineer in my family to come to college and do engineering, I know firsthand how it is to come into something not knowing exactly what you may be doing. And I know a lot of us as students, we come into tech, college, we're like, whoa, what are we doing? How do I succeed from here? But at Texas Tech, that is the beauty about Lubbock, is that from here at being a Red Raider, you are set for success. I am proud to stand before you all, and I'm honored to stand before you all. Thank you so much for your time, and I am excited to run with timeless tradition and ensure that the initiatives and the people that we are here to serve are being heard, that people are connected regardless of what background they're from, what organization that they are a part of, or where they're coming from. Thank you so much.
What a great crowd, am I right? Thank you everyone again for taking time out of your Friday night to be here. I know a lot of us are working diligently to not only serve the students, but also to serve ourselves with school and other student organizations that we are part of. And I would just like to remind everyone March 3rd is a very important date for many reasons, but also because we hold values that are very traditional and very important to us. And I hope that everyone tonight will hold true to your values and what you truly believe in. As for me, I believe in the values of the Red and Bold movement, which are importance on safety, opportunity, accessibility, and sustainability. Thank you again, everyone. Good night.
Thank you again, everybody, for coming. I'm going to leave all of y'all with a quote tonight. It is that commitment is about doing the job you said that you would, long past the mood that you said it in has gone. Inky Johnson said that. Phenomenal person if you haven't heard him speak before. One of the promises of the Radar Revival campaign is to show up. And it's not just to show up to chapters to talk to you before voting or various ag groups. It is to show up and tell them about our ideas and get them on board with what we want to change on Texas Tech campus. And then it's also showing up after voting. I've told all the presidents of IFC chapters that I've met with that this is not the last time you will see me. I will be at IFC meetings, obviously other meetings that I can attend, but I will continue to show up because the job doesn't end on March 3rd, it starts. And so getting to work and maintaining that priority and making sure that we can bring positive change to Texas Tech campus is something that I promise to do. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our debate tonight. Thank you all for coming, and remember to vote on March 3rd.